Hey everybody, and happy Thursday. Hope you all have had a great week. And welcome again to my channel, Chatting It Out in the Middle with me. I'm Sean. And so what I wanted to do, this is our title, Breakfast Nook. So if you remember our last Breakfast Nook, we were talking about Psalms 91. And so I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just want to go in and do some touching on some of the verses because the verses are so way too powerful just to read it and let it be. Hopefully you all have the opportunity to go read it yourself and maybe find the places and the greatness of everything that God says. It's great, but just the protection that he offers us. So Psalm 91 talks about the dwelling places, the secret places that we dwell as far as God's concerned, under the shadow of his wing. And I think that that's one of the biggest things for me because he's saying just get under the shadow. Now, I cannot imagine God's wing span or the length and width of his feathers. But he's saying a shadow. Just go in the shadow of it. And you're protected when you dwell there. So when you go even under the shadows and you make your home there, meaning that everything that you do, say, feel, think, is all in God. Right? Can you imagine if we nestled in close and tightly to him, what exactly we would be experiencing? The depth of the beauty of that would be insane. And so it talks about abiding. Now, abiding means you remain. You don't dip in and out, right? The key here is we get closer because that is our ultimate, should be our ultimate goal as it is God's, is that we continue to get closer to him. He's offering us the shadow, but he wants us closer. Now, he delivers us from so much that we don't even know. Can you all imagine the things that you might can think of that he's delivered you from? It's probably 100 times more things that you don't even know he's delivered you from, that you can't even remember he's delivered you from. Because it's that many, it's that vast. It's so many different ways he has delivered you. And that might be something we want to do. Just sit down and get a piece of paper and jot down all the things just in 24, just in the last probably 24 hours, maybe in the last hour, that God has actually delivered you from, that he has brought you through. I know one. I am absolutely in a different hour. I'm in a different year. I am in a different chapter. I'm still breathing. I mean, you see what I'm saying? He's delivered me into more. And so we don't have to be afraid of the things that of this world. Not that you don't have to be cautious or aware. Not that you can just walk around and think that nothing can touch you, because that ends up being a deception. But to know when things come against you, even when we go and fight. I heard this the other day. On a sermon from Stephen Furtick. If you all don't know who Stephen Furtick is, you will, because I will be adding some shorts in here from him. But I heard him talk about the other day about just about on these same lines. You know, we just don't know when, we just don't know the things that God brings us through. And so many times we are deceived by what we think could be coming against us. It's actually God's blessing. And so we have a tendency to either bring sometimes a fight comes for us because it's life, or it's the enemy, or it's another person. It just comes for us. Sometimes we take ourselves to a fight, and that can be just in our lack of knowledge, our lack of wisdom. We're being deceived, or we're just not being obedient, or we're acting outside of who we are in God. And so, or sometimes the fight is preparing us for a bigger blessing. And you don't always know which one it is. And so sometimes things are hard, like 2024 was very challenging for me. However, it's still challenging because I brought the same big challenge that I was dealing with in 24 in 25. It's still here. And so for me to understand why it's still here is a whole nother thought process. But the fact of the matter is, part of it found me, part of me and my disobedience, my lack of knowledge, let me see what word I want to use, lack of discipline, it led me to the fight. But remember, he works all things out for our good, according to his riches and glory. So he'll mix that up, and he'll use that. And even if it doesn't matter, because he turns all things into good, right? So as he is turning things into good in my life, he's taken those things that were fights that were brought to me, those that I brought to myself, and he's using those so that I can fight my current fight. That's all mixed up together, and I can do it according to him. So I don't have to be afraid of what I see, because he's going to always bring it through no matter what. And I'll come back on with some more about Psalms 91. It's too good just to dip in and out of it, but I wanted to start there. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day. It doesn't matter when you see this. It doesn't matter when you get on here. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you can continue to receive everything that is meant for you to impact your life. I'll see you back later with more on Chatting with Sean in the Middle.